Is Rabbi Chaim Marcus here by any chance?
How are you, Nachum? Good morning. Good morning.
I must say one thing about being here. Certain people walk through the door and it puts a big smile on my face, and you are among them. I've heard some amazing things about your community, my gosh. Oh, and Rabbi Marcus, I have a news flash that was handed to me. Rabbi Chaim Marcus is, of course, a rabbi in Springfield, New Jersey.
Right.
Has now been named Mashgiach Ruchani here at RTMA.
Yep.
First of all,
still a Puria, still teaching halacha 12th graders a Puria.
So he's the brand new Mashgiach Ruchani at RTMA, faculty at Puria, as you mentioned. You are a lower school parent.
And a parent of a Puria student, and a parent of an RTMA student. I have children in all of the divisions. We basically could do the whole show with you. We basically, just you and I talking, could do the entire show. And maybe most importantly, you are a community rabbi who has taken Springfield, New Jersey, which was not on the map in my day, right? And
now it's on the map.
Baruch Hashem,
and it continues to be.
Yeah, thank God.
In an average year, are you getting, I don't know, a few families in each year?
Yeah, absolutely. A number of families each year. As I tell my board, in about next year, I think we're going to lock the doors, and we're not going to let anyone else in.
You want it to be continue to be the best secret out there.
We want it to maintain a community feel where everyone knows your name.
What does this mean, becoming a brand new mashgiach at a place like RTMA? Do in fact our yeshiva high schools, which traditionally, as I remember them, never had mashgichim ruchaniim.
Right. What's the role of a mashgiach?
Right. Do we in fact need them these days?
Rav Meir Goldberg Shlita told me a beautiful idea.
Yeah.
About last year, 2 years ago, we were schmoozing, and he said, Rabbi Chaim, he says, every 3 years now in Chinuch is a new door. It's a new generation.
Soon it'll be every 2 years.
Right.
Then it'll be every year.
When we think that we didn't have smartphones 10 years ago, can imagine how things are evolving, how things are moving at such a quick pace. And Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Newman, RTMA Hanhala, and Rav Taitz, really it comes ultimately down to the vision of Rav Taitz, understands this and understands that we always have to be evolving, we always have to be developing. And the role of a mashgiach is, as I said last night actually at the open house, is to bring some of the Eish Levana of Torah. The Eish Chorah, the black fire, is how to open a Ramban, how to break open a Sugya in Gemara. But we also have to have the Eish Levana, the white fire of why are we doing this? How is this meaningful? The soul of Torah.
And it's funny that you, I'm sure you did this, you meant this on purpose, but the fact that there is this proliferation of technology and so much good and so much bad at the same time, you need this element just to keep people on track.
For sure.
Do the boys take advantage of it? Do you get the feeling that they understand your role and are gravitating to it?
As mashgiach, when I come into a room, they know there's not going to be a test on this. But I'll tell you, and so you might think the boys zone out, they're engaged. We have real deep conversations with 10th graders, 11th graders, and certainly the 12th graders who are, looking into the wild blue yonder. The opportunity to just have them be able to talk about what they want to talk about technology, the challenges, to talk about tefillah, to talk about just the fundamental, what are your life goals, short-term, midterm, long-term goals. And you're thinking, high school students talk about these things, high school students think about these things, and they do. And we have to give them that opportunity to really open up.
And as parents, it's something we appreciate these days, because if we don't start these types of discussions early on, then forget it.
Absolutely.
Because in this fast-moving world, there's just too many distractions, too much media attention on things that other people think are important, and it just grabs them, unfortunately. We want to grab them first.
For sure.
Rabbi Chaim Marcus is here. All right, last time you were on, you had an opportunity to discuss just how important a role JEC and the entire JEC school family has as a community school, with even you being a community rav, not here in Elizabeth, but close by.
Correct.
And it has a ripple effect all the way to where you serve.
For sure. I mean, you had Rabbi Beer on this morning, who was a youth director in our shul, and now Baruch Hashem is the manal of the lower school.
Seems to have made quite a nice adjustment here.
Amazing. Rav Uzi's a superstar. He's really just awesome.
And I mentioned to him, it doesn't always work out when a community member is part of a school.
Absolutely. Normally only rabbis have to,
They're the ones
live where they
like
work.
Right.
But it was something that I spoke to him about. And Baruch Hashem, the community really respects those boundaries that he set. And he's just amazing. And just the buzz with Rabbi Newman and Rabbi Oretz, Rabbi Joe, in Berea, been there now for 15 years. But how you might just think also, Berea, it's just so great. They're one of the top schools in America. America, really in the world, but they're always constantly reinventing themselves. Like Rav Meir told me, every 3 years is a new door. Yeah. You always have to stay one step ahead, and it's really amazing how they all do it.
As a community rabbi, you'd have to agree that some of the issues out there are becoming very complicated. Let's use that word. Difficult to deal with. Family situations that, frankly, rabbis of my father's generation who were great rabbinic leaders, but they never had situations like that. It must sometimes appear to be a great challenge for people like yourself.
Well, Baruch Hashem, there is also great support, for Rabbanim out there now, in ways that I don't think you had. Back in the day, you just had like Chaver Isla, you had a rabbi to commiserate with, you had that friend that you reached out to and threw ideas off of. But now there are places that are really providing significant support to Rabbanim. Whether it's YU, whether it's OU, whether it's, individuals like a Dr. David Pelkovitz who gives the cell phone number out to all Rabbanim. I recently reached out to him to discuss an issue with. So Baruch Hashem, it's getting complicated, and the Doros we're speeding through them very quickly.
But which Baruch is a good sign, ultimately.
Right. We're coming. We hope to that great day. But there's no question that in chinuch and in communities, the challenges are getting great. But, as the Gemara tells us, Zel umazeh asa Elokim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu always makes sure there's a balance in the world. A balance of light, a balance of dark. So if it's getting darker, the light has to be there just as much. And Baruch Hashem, it is there.
Who was the Mashgiach Ruchani who had the most effect on you in your lifetime? Is there one that you could cite? I remember Rabuzi Kalchaim in Keren B'Yavneh, who gave a Musar Seder every week. And for some reason, even though I barely was able to understand his Hebrew, for some reason, the way he presented had a lasting effect on me.
I'll tell you, Rav Yitzchak Cohen was my ninth grade Rabbi.
You're citing a great one.
NYU.
Sure.
I was with him in Moko, Morosh HaKolah, for 3 summers. And it was just such an opportunity when I actually gave a Sichas Musar in YU in the new main base during El, and Rav Cohen was sitting right there. And now he came up to me afterwards and actually reflected on some of the ideas I said. He was a Rebbe of mine. He is, when I think of a Baal Musar, when I think of a Mashgiach, Rav Yitzchak Cohen is just like the epitome.
He's
no wonder had tremendous impact on me. Tremendous impact. Thank you so much, Nachum.
Who did I meet? Is it a cousin of yours who's a rabbi in Queens?
Rav Shmuel Marcus, yes, my first cousin. Amazing guy. Rebbe, Landers,
and his father, as you know, was
my
your
Rebbe. Absolutely.
Your uncle.
Yeah, Rav Falls. That's
amazing.
Very special person.
I can do it even more if you want, because Rav Falls' wife's sister is married to my first cousin.
Right, yes, of course, Gershon.
So we could really do this all morning long. Anyway,
of course.
Rabbi Marcus, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much,
Always
Nachum.
a pleasure. Good
always
luck.
Great to see you.
He's the brand new Mashgiach Ruchani at RTMA and associated with Brewery, and as we said, all the schools for quite a while. And that's Rabbi Chaim Marcus.